You are walking through a forest. Ahead of you, a deer stands frozen at the edge of the tree line. It sees you. You stop. You don't move. You don't speak. And for 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, it doesn't run. Something passes between you. You don't know what to call it, but your body recognizes it before your mind does. A stillness, a held breath, the feeling that something ancient just happened. It did. Most people assume that moment is random, luck, being in the right place. But researchers who study animal behavior have found something far more interesting. Animals are not reacting to you randomly. They are reading you, precisely, continuously, with a level of accuracy that would embarrass most humans. And your ancestors knew exactly how to speak that language.
Let's start with what animals actually detect. A wild animal assessing a potential threat is processing at least 5 signals simultaneously: your body posture, your direction of movement, your eye contact, your breathing rate, and something researchers are only beginning to understand: the chemical signals your body releases when you are afraid. When you are stressed, your body releases cortisol and adrenaline through sweat. Most animals have a sense of smell between 10 and 100,000 times more sensitive than yours. A deer standing 40 feet away is not just seeing you, it is reading your bloodstream. It knows whether your heart is racing before you have taken a single step. This is why experienced wildlife rehabilitators are trained to regulate their own nervous system before approaching an animal, not as a soft skill, as a hard technical requirement. Your internal state is not invisible. It is broadcasting on a frequency every wild animal around you is tuned to. Your ancestors understood this completely, not as science, as survival.
For 300,000 years, humans lived inside ecosystems, not beside them, inside them. They knew the behavioral vocabulary of dozens of species, the way you know the faces of your coworkers. They could read a bird's alarm call and know which predator triggered it. They could track an animal for 6 hours and predict from its gait whether it was tired enough to stop. And in that proximity, they learned something modern humans have almost entirely forgotten. Wild animals have a threshold. Below it, they tolerate your presence. Above it, they flee. And that threshold is not fixed. It moves. It responds to your behavior in real time.
In 2018, biologist Esteban Fernandez-Hurisic published research on what he called the flight initiation distance, the point at which an animal decides to run. His findings showed this distance was not primarily determined by how close you were. It was determined by how you approached. Animals approached directly with eye contact at normal walking speed fled at much greater distances than animals approached indirectly without eye contact at a slower pace.
Your ancestors knew this. Every hunter-gatherer culture studied uses the same approach techniques: indirect paths, averted gaze, slow, deliberate movement. Not because they read a study, because 300,000 years of trial and error built it into their practice. But here is where it gets stranger. Archaeological sites across Africa, Europe, and Asia contain evidence of something researchers did not expect to find: animals that appear to have been kept. Not domesticated, not bred in captivity, just kept. Ravens, foxes, deer, skeletal remains found near human settlements, sometimes showing healed injuries that could only have been treated by human hands. An injured animal, kept alive through recovery. Not for food, The caloric value of a lame deer is the same as a healthy one.
Humans have always brought injured animals home. For as long as we have archaeological records, there is evidence of it. It may be one of the oldest behaviors our species has. And the animals sometimes let them. Wildlife rehabilitators who work with foxes, corvids, and raptors, animals with no history of domestication, report that individual animals sometimes make a choice. They stop fleeing. They accept contact. They return. Not because they were conditioned, not because food was offered, because something in the interaction crossed a threshold, and the animal decided the human was not a threat. Biologist Mark Bekoff argues this is not mystical. Animals are capable of individual assessments. They are reading the specific human in front of them, not humans as a category. A hand that has never moved aggressively, a body that has never signaled predatory intent, a nervous system broadcasting calm instead of threat. Over time, these signals accumulate. The animal builds a model of you, and it decides. Your ancestors were extraordinarily good at generating those signals. They had to be. A hunter who spooked every animal within a mile went hungry. The people who survived were the people whose bodies had learned at a deep physiological level to broadcast calm. You inherited that body. You still have the capacity, but most modern humans have never needed to develop it. We move through the world at human speed, in human spaces, surrounded by human noise. The frequency animals are listening on has gone mostly silent in us. This is why that moment in the forest feels like something. When a wild animal holds its ground and looks at you, it has assessed you with sensory systems far more precise than yours, and concluded, for now, that you are safe. It has extended something. Not trust in the human sense, but a provisional suspension of fear. And somewhere in your nervous system, something responds, not with surprise, with recognition. Because for 300,000 years, this was not a rare moment. This was the world your ancestors lived in every single day. A world where humans and animals shared the same ground, read each other constantly, and occasionally found something that looked almost like stillness. You felt it for 5 seconds in a forest. They lived inside it for a lifetime.